Everything about the body evolved as a matter of survival, the ultimate goal being to find a mate and reproduce. I used to find this list very convincing. The bodies that I examined and treated in my medical practice conformed to it. Patients came to me with parts that were wearing out. I could winnow their symptoms down to problems with various organs. I prescribed antibiotics to fend off invading bacteria and so on. And yet, entirely off to the side, every one of these people lived lives that had nothing to do with machines breaking down and heart cells operating separately from liver cells. These lives were full of meaning and hope, emotions and aspirations, love and suffering. Machines don't lead such lives. Neither do collections of organs. Before long, I began to see that the body seen through the lens of science was an inadequate representation of the whole. It was also obvious that the wall separating medical life from personal life was easily breached. If someone lost their job or had a death in the family, it led to depression. That depression showed up as a change in brain chemistry. To treat it, I could prescribe a drug, but that simply masked the symptoms. A real cure depended on the patient getting a new job or on going through the grieving process. Both of those are meaningful events, not simply chemical reactions taking place in assorted tissues and organs. Without a doubt, the body needs reinventing. To have a meaningful life, you have to use your body. You can't experience anything without one. And so your body should be meaningful too. What would give your body its highest meaning, purpose, intelligence, and creativity? Only the sacred side of our nature, the side science has forgotten. This led me to the phrase, resurrecting the soul. I am hesitant to use religious terms because they are loaded with emotional baggage. But soul is unavoidable. 90% of people believe they have a soul and that it gives their lives ultimate meaning. The soul is divine. It connects us to God. Insofar as life contains love, truth, and beauty, we look to our soul as the source of those qualities. It's no accident that a perfect love is called a soulmate. The scalpel in the hands of a medical student didn't cut the body away from the soul, but it might as well have. In contrast to our stated beliefs, we live as if the soul doesn't matter in the material world. The soul may have immunity from all the ills of the flesh, yet without the soul, the body cannot have meaning. Every cell receives a chemical message to tell it when you are depressed, anxious, sexually aroused, emotionally exhausted, or angry. By the same token, every cell receives a chemical message when you fall in love, experience silence in meditation, sense the presence of God, or go into ecstasy. There is constant feedback between the soul and the body. We invented the separation between the two and then came to believe that separation was real. You may object that you've never felt ecstatic or sensed the presence of God. This simply reflects our narrow conception of the soul, confining it to religion. If you look into the wisdom traditions of every culture, you find that the soul has other meanings. It is the source of life, the spark that animates dead matter. It creates the mind and emotions. In other words, the soul is the very foundation of experience. It serves as the channel for creation as it unfolds in every second. What makes these lofty ideas important is that everything the soul does is translated into a process in the body. You literally cannot have a body without the soul. This is the forgotten miracle, that the soul, seemingly invisible, aloof and apart from the material world, actually creates the body. Each of us is soul made into flesh. I want to prove to you that your body needs reinventing and that you have the power to accomplish that. Every generation has tinkered with the body, strange as that sounds. The last overhaul, which was a major step forward, occurred during a time when we treated our bodies as sinkholes of sin and suffering. Physical desire had to be condemned as displeasing to God, and the body therefore was just a temporary encumbrance until death brought a blessed relief. During the pre-scientific age, the body was